right, question 15. So question 15 is about the question about angle. So let's just jump straight into it. So ABCD is a trapezium, parallel lines BC to AD. AEC is a straight line, and then after that they give you all of the information of the angles, and then they ask you to calculate the reflex angle ABC. So reflex angle, take note, is it this one? No. Okay, this is not a reflex angle. Rather, a reflex angle is this one. So reflex angle is actually when the angle is more than 180 degrees. Okay, so if you see that your final answer that you have calculated for part A turns out to be less than 180, please double check your working and see maybe you have missed out somewhere or something have gone wrong. So yeah. Okay, so they want you to find A, B, C, and in order for you to do that, you actually have to find a normal ABC first, right? Which is here, this one right here. And if you want to do that, you actually have to find what ACB is, right? Because sum of angles in a triangle adds up to 180. So from ACB, if you want to find that angle, you have to find this angle and then this angle, right? Honestly, there's quite a few ways to find it, but depending on you and depending on what you see first, as long as you get the answer, you're settled. Okay? So for me, I'll go ahead and find angle ECD first, which is equals to 180 degrees minus 45 degrees minus 38 degrees. And that is actually equals to 97 degrees. Why? Sum of angles in a triangle. Okay? Please remember to write your reasoning, okay, in angles is very, very important. So you know that this is 97 degrees. And then I'll go ahead and find CAD. What is CAD? CAD is actually uh 180 minus 97 minus 38 minus 22. Right? Why? Because sorry, that will give me 23. Why? Sum of angles in triangle. If you cannot see it, let me highlight to you the triangle. This is the triangle that I'm looking at. Okay? Yep. And since I know that this angle right here is what's that called? That is 23 degrees. I can go ahead and find angles ABC already. Right? I can actually find this angle. This non-reflex angle. Acute angle actually. Is it acute? No, not acute, sorry. This normal angle ABC. Right? And that is 180 minus 23 minus 34. That should give me 123. Why? Because angles in, running out of colors, angles in parallel lines add up to 180. Okay? Angles between two parallel lines. So you have to go and write that as well. So you can just say angles between two parallel lines. And then you have to state what parallel lines you're looking at, which is BC is parallel to AD. Okay? And now you have the normal ABC, so you go and find your reflex. And that should be equals to 360 minus 123. Okay? 237. For this line, you can write the reason is angles at a point. Right? Because angles at a point, they add up to 360. Okay? So better to be safe than sorry. So just write all of the reasonings that you know, which is this is 237 degrees. Okay? Yeah, and they ask you to give a reason for each step of your working. So you have to give. All right, let's go to part B. Explain why a semicircle with AD as a diameter does not pass through C. Okay, let's go back. Let me just erase all of this. Okay, so they are saying why a semicircle with AD as a diameter does not pass through C. If AD is a diameter, let's just draw it out. It's going to look very, very messy, but let's just try, okay? Imagine you have let me just do a thick one. Imagine you have a very big semicircle like that. Does not pass through C. In order for you to pass through C, what is the requirement? All right, there's a requirement that actually this angle right here has to be a 90 degrees, right? Because imagine you draw one hypothetical line, right? That cuts right through here. And then you draw one other tangent line across. You know that, okay, this is not the most accurate, but you know that this angle right here is a 90 degrees angle, correct? But in this case, what is the angle? 97. So it is not 90, right? So with that reasoning in mind, you can say, why? Because angle ECD is not equals to 90 degrees, right? And by the property of right angle in a semicircle, therefore, semicircle with diameter, AD does not pass through C. Okay. So in this case, for questions like this, if you find it hard to explain, you should always draw it out. The moment you draw it out, you'll be like, oh, yeah. You'll be able to like visualize it. And then you'll be like, oh, yes, this is why it does not pass through C. Okay? So, yep, let's go on to the next question.